So welcome to your prenatal fitness class tonight. My name is Steph and I'm going to be leading you through your workout. And for those of you who don't know me, I've been teaching prenatal and postpartum fitness for 10 years now. And I'm actually doing my PhD in exercise in pregnancy and postpartum research at Western University. So this is something I'm super passionate about. I love teaching these types of classes. And for today's workout in particular, I've included a bunch of the exercises that I would consider staples. In particular, staples when trying to train core and stabilizing the pelvic bowl and the pelvis. So a lot of the exercises today will be hitting and targeting different parts of your torso, particularly your abdominals, which when we're pregnant, a lot of people think, well, can't train my abs or it's not safe to, but I'm going to show you some exercises that are actually safe to do. So for the workout today, you'll need a set of dumbbells. I've got a set of 10s, and those are going to be pretty good for me. And then you'll just need a mat. And if you're in your third trimester, you might want to have a stool or a couch, something soft that you can elevate for one of the modifications. And I'll show you different variations for each of the exercises so you can adapt based on whatever trimester you're in. For starters, we're going to start with a tabletop warm-up. And I really like a tabletop warm-up because it's usually pretty comfortable for most people. We can do all the exercises regardless of your trimester. So let's start with your knees under your hips, palms under your shoulders, and we're just going to start with some shoulder rolls. So I'm going to keep my arms locked out and I'm going to pinch my shoulder blades together and roll down and back. And basically we want to create a lot of movement within our shoulder blades. And people don't know this, but you have about 17 muscles that connect and attach to your scapula, which are our shoulder blades. So let's go one way and now let's switch and go the other way. And while I'm doing this, my arms stay locked out, so I'm not bending my elbows at all. I'm just moving through the shoulders, okay? From here, we're going to do some cat-cow. So what that requires is as you inhale, you're going to start with your chin, then you're going to pinch your shoulder blades together, and just think about running down your spine till you finish with your tailbone pointing up. Then we're going to tuck our tailbone, start to round, and then finish when we tuck our chin with that exhale. So let's move like that with our inhale, starting with the chin, shoulder blades and tailbone, and then exhale, starting from our tailbone and working our way forward. And now just going at this at your own pace, finding your breath. And the breath is really important when we exercise, especially when we're pregnant. Good, and now for the next couple, if you want to add a little bit of movement as you do it, so I'm kind of rocking side to side. This is also going to help stretch out your obliques a little bit and your ribs, our intercostal muscles, which are between our ribs. Awesome. Coming to stationary, we're going to do some T-spine rotation, so kind of getting that middle to upper back area. So two options, you can either be in your tabletop and bring that elbow to the wrist and look up, or you can come back into a child's pose with that forearm down and bring that hand around your back. Okay, this one's going to be harder if you're in your third trimester. This one's just a bit easier and better to get that thoracic twist that we're hoping to get and that stretch. So figure out wherever you're at. If your third trimester, stay up here. If your second trimester and this is comfortable, we're going to drop that shoulder, press and rotate. Looking up to the sky, let our head and eyes follow our shoulder. If you're doing the tabletop, your eyes follow your elbow. And as you do this, try not to shift your hips too much. Okay? We're going to do 10 per side. Again, thinking about inhaling as you come down, exhaling to come up. And once you do 10 on one side, we'll do 10 on the other. And notice if one side's tighter than the other, because sometimes we have a twist naturally one way in our spine that we might not even know about. Maybe it's just because of the way we sit at our desk or, you know, whatever we do in our life. Maybe if we played sports growing up, batting, hockey, we'll naturally have a twist more one way than the other. Okay, now let's start working on engaging the deep core muscles and the muscles of the spine. So we're going to start with a bird dog. So bird dog, I want you to hover your right hand and your left knee. And even just doing this in and of itself is going to work on engaging those muscles, especially if you're pushing through that hand. So we're not getting lazy through the shoulder. If you're comfortable here and you're not going to arch your back at all, we're going to kick that leg back, reach that arm forward. Coming back in, don't switch, we're going to repeat. As you do this though, that spine should stay completely neutral and stable. We should really feel this in our glutes as we kick back, that toes pointing down. And as we reach forward, that thumb's reaching up, reaching as far as you can forward. We're going for 10 each side here. So nice and slow, inhaling to come in, exhaling to press. And bird dog is like one of the best exercises anyone can do, but especially when you're pregnant. So now let's reset. Let's hover our left hand, right leg, and let's do the exact same thing with our breath, extending out as we inhale, and then exhaling as we bring it back in. Thinking about reaching forward and not up, okay? Because when I reach up, I'm going to arch my back. And the whole point is to keep your torso nice and stable. Awesome. Now we're going to go into some down dog knee taps. So using our fingers, spreading them nice and wide, curling our toes, we're going to press back. Try not to hyperextend though. So butt up high is great. You're going to inhale to come forward, exhale, hover or tap the knees down, and then inhale, push yourself back into that down dog. Take a little exhale here. Inhale the plank, tap, and exhale. Coming back, we're going to do 10 of these. Inhale the plank, and exhale, reaching back. That's 2, 7 more to go. Go at your own pace, but my fingertips are nice and spread, and I'm pushing through them, not just my palms. This is also going to help open up the shoulders, so you should feel that nice little stretch. Try to get your heels down towards your mat as close as you can. If you don't want to touch down, that's going to be a little bit more core, so that's even better. Couple more. All right, and then setting back down. So you can grab a quick sip of water. If you want to throw on some music as well, you can go ahead. We're going to start with a Tabata, and traditional Tabatas are 20 seconds on, 10 seconds rest for 8 rounds. So we're going to stick to that actually, and we're going to alternate through 4 different exercises. So we're basically going to go through 2 rounds of each. The first 2 exercises are windmills. So windmills look like this. You're going to set up your foot, so it's pointing forward. The other foot is pointing perpendicular. So you're kind of making an intersection with your feet. My heel is lining up with the arch. From here, I'm going to press this weight up. My hand comes on the inside of my leg. I'm going to have a micro bend in that front knee. I'm going to run along my leg until I come all the way down and then back up. As I do this, this hip is coming off to the side, so you're going to get a stretch here as well as maybe down the leg, but this is going to be lots of obliques. If this is too much, what you can do is come to a half kneeling and do the same thing, okay? It's just going to be less balance work, and it's going to be a little bit safer. So if your balance is off today, or you're late in your 3rd trimester and bending over sideways is not comfortable, definitely take the knee, and you can fold your mat over for extra support. So we're going to do right side, then left. Then we've got something called a heartbeat squat. So heartbeat squat, you set up in a squat stance, feet are hip width distance apart, you're going to squat down. At the bottom of your squat, you're going to press out with the weight back in and up. I'll show you from the side. Okay, so you're going to come down, press out, in, and back up. What happens when we press out, we're using our shoulders and our chest, but we're also using all of our core muscles to keep us upright. And you might even feel this in your back when you're reaching out, because the further away the weight goes, the more our deepest core muscles have to stabilize. So in the bottom of that squat, you've got your legs working for your pelvis, and you've got your abs, you've got your spine working for your torso, and then you've got your shoulders and your pecs and your arms working to hold that weight up. So full body. Then we've got a bent over dumbbell iso alternating row. It sounds like a lot, but it's really basic. It gets spicy too. So you're going to bend your knees, reach your hips back. We're going to row. One arm comes down, one arm comes up. Okay, so one arm will always stay up. Try to make sure your shoulders stay away from your ears in this one. It's really easy to start kind of getting tense. We want to relax. We want to row to our hip every time. Keeping those elbows nice and tight too. Okay? So those are our exercises. We've got 2 rounds of everything, moving for 20 seconds on, 10 seconds rest, starting in 10 seconds. Let's go right hand windmill first. So either kneeling or standing, micro bend in that front leg. Keep your eye on the weight. Find that balance point. Go nice and slow. Inhaling as you come down, exhaling as you come up. I love windmills. They're one of the best exercises, not only for your core, but also shoulder stability. So you balancing that weight overhead takes a lot of work. Ready and rest. So bring that down. And now we're going to switch. So setting your feet up in the other direction. Okay? Micro bend in that front leg. Arms up. Let's go. Coming down. And back up. Notice if one side is tighter than the other. So maybe you could go lower on one side than the other. And rest. Setting up for heartbeat squats. So get into that squat stance. Feet are firmly planted. I'm going to pretend I'm spreading the floor apart. So driving those knees out. Coming down. Pressing out. Back in. And up. Okay? And don't be afraid to hang out at the bottom. Your goal is to try to squat as low as you can. And if it's hard for you to squat low, you can always squat down to your couch or chair if you need that target. Okay? Rest. Let's grab the dumbbell. And then we're going to do that alternating iso row. So feet are hip width, bend the knees, reach the hips back, row both, one releases, and let's alternate. My eyes are a couple feet in front of me. My back is flat. My neck is neutral. So you don't need to crank your head forward. Want to keep that neck nice and neutral. And rest. So set one weight down. We're going to go back to those windmills this time. I'm going to start with my left arm first. I like to mix it up every time. Okay, let's go. Coming down and back up with control. Nice and smooth. See if you can reach that hip off to the side just a little bit more. Awesome. Let's switch. Switch up. Other arm comes up. 3, 2, 1. Let's work on keeping this arm locked out or a micro bend at the most. Eyes stay on it. 2, 1. Heartbeats. Okay, so getting ready. Shoulders down and back. Relax as you can have them. Let's squat down, press out, in and up. And watch that your shoulders don't sneak up like this when you're reaching out as well. Okay, we want to keep them down so we can use our shoulders and our pecs more. 2, 1. Okay, let's grab the other dumbbell. Bent over iso rows. 3, 2, 1. Row and alternate. Chest is open. Pinch your shoulder blades together here. And think about getting that elbow nice and high to the sky. Always tapping at your hip. So the dumbbells make contact with the outer part of my hip every single time. 3, 2, 1. Time. Good. So grab a quick drink if you want it. And while you're doing that, I'm going to show you our next couple exercises. So we've got an EMOM next. And we've got 4 exercises that we're going to do within that. And they're all compound exercises. So the first is a wall push-up with alternating Supermans. So what that looks like is you're going to set up on your wall. Your hands should be just under your chest, because if you were going to push somebody, that's where you push them from. Okay, you don't push them up here and you don't push people like that, right? We push them with our elbows tucked in. So that's the position for your hands. You're going to lower yourself to the wall, Press up. When you come up, you're gonna gently lift opposite hand and opposite leg. If you're in your first trimester and you want more of a challenge, you can definitely do this from a kneeling position on your mat. So it looks a little bit more like this. And then when you do your Supermans, you basically do a bird dog, okay? If you're in your second trimester and you're feeling like the wall's too easy but the floor's too hard, prop yourself up on an angle on your couch. That works as well. Key to keep in mind, try not to hyperextend. Okay, I don't want to compress my low back. I just want to squeeze my glutes. I want to extend that arm just like we do in a bird dog to get that back fired up and all those spinal muscles. Then we've got an alternating reverse lunge with a wood chop. So what that looks like, reverse lunges, I'm a bigger fan of rather, because you can kind of keep more of a neutral back. When people do forward lunges, they tend to arch their back. So reverse lunge, you're gonna hover that back knee, you're gonna bring the weight up across your body, and that's what we call a wood chop. Step forward and then switch, okay? So we're challenging the legs here. With that lunge, make sure that foot is firmly planted, make sure your toes are pressing back, knees bent, nice and low in the lunge, but that the arm is straight. Because the further away the weight is from you, just like that heartbeat, the more you're gonna get deep core, you're gonna get lats and shoulders and pecs in this one as well. Then we've got something called ground to overhead. So 2 options, and it's okay if you don't go all the way to the ground, but I'll show you the hinge. So you're gonna hinge and then press overhead. So this is our hinge pattern, but you could also do a squat, okay, if you want. As long as the weight comes down to the ground and goes overhead. Now, if you're gonna go to the ground and round, I'd rather see you not. So keep that back flat and make sure it stays flat the whole entire time. So normally I would do this with the weight like this, but my ceilings are low, so I can't, so I'd hit it. So that's why I've got the weight like that. So think if you were holding a ball, it would probably touch the ground. Just keep your back flat, that's the most important. Last but not least, we've got a glute bridge with a pullover. And this is something if you're in your third trimester, you're gonna wanna use your couch for, but if you don't have one, it's not the end of the world, because we're not on our backs too long. But what you wanna think about is rolling onto your side, you're gonna come into a glute bridge, and then you're going to do a pullover. So bringing those arms back, resting overhead, I'm gonna drop the hips down and then come back up, okay? If you're in your third trimester, set up with your couch so that your bra strap is on the edge of the couch. You can do the exact same thing reaching behind you. As well, when you're holding the weight, hold it with your thumbs hooked and try to press with your hands like this because it's going to give you more lat activation, which is what we want. And I'll show you a couple variations because I'm going to add in the other dumbbell. We're going to kind of add in a fly for it. Okay, so 12 minutes. Every minute we're going to switch through to another exercise. So we're going to end up doing 3 rounds total. Okay, thumbs up. I hope you're ready. We're going to start in 10 seconds. Okay, with that wall push up and alternating Supermans. 3, 2, 1. Do your push up. And then little squeeze one side and then the other. And like I said, watch that you're not compressing through the low back. You should feel the squeeze in your glutes. You should feel it in your upper back a little bit with the shoulders. We're getting the back of the deltoid. But there shouldn't be more room between your ribs. Shouldn't be spreading the space between your ribs and your hips. Good. Remember to keep those elbows tight to the body. I don't want to see any chicken wings. Okay. Ooh, other one. Almost there. 2, 1. Okay, switching right into those reverse lunges with wood chops. Okay, so right away, stepping back, coming up, and switching. Do you see how I'm breathing? Inhale it, and then I exhale as I bring that weight up, because that's going to be the hardest part of the movement. We always want to breathe during that contraction phase. Make sure that back knee's just hovering over your mat. Challenge the legs. Make sure you know what side you started with, because we always want to finish with the other one. Perfect. Ground to overhead. So I'm going to do the hinge, because hinging is going to load the hamstrings. We have to use our glutes. So I reach back and then I squeeze my glutes and keep them squeezed as I press overhead. I always like working the glutes. Weight stays nice and close. I'm basically doing a high pull and then I flip at my face to press overhead. Good work, ladies. Keep going. We've got 10 seconds left and then we're going to go into that glute bridge with our pullover. 3, 2, all right. Let's come down to our side, roll on our side onto our back, and then set up, feet hip width distance apart, weights overhead, bring those hips up, weight comes back, and then come back down. Squeeze our glutes, nice and strong, just like you're holding like a nickel between them. And think about your breath. Inhaling and then exhale to bring that weight back. If you want to make this one harder, you can also do single leg glute bridge. That gets really spicy. 2, 1. Okay, rolling onto our side, coming up back to that wall. Okay, so that was one round down. Got 2 more of everything. Transitioning right back into it. And again, picking your options. It's so individualized with prenatal fitness because it's so dependent on where you're at in your pregnancy, how big baby is, whether baby's growing out or staying more set into your torso, right? There's so many factors. So find the one that's challenging but works best for you. That's why we do 3 rounds too, so you can usually tweak it as you go. Three, 2, 1. Okay, grab the weight. We've got those reverse lunges. Remember which leg you started with in the back, because we're always going to finish with our other leg. Lunging. Even if times run out, we want equal reps on both sides. You got it. Keep going. Sink low. Challenge those legs. Challenge the upper body to keep those arms as straight as you can. Two, 1. Okay, ground to overhead. I'm going to add in my second weight for this to make it a little bit harder. Just makes it a little bit more challenging. But you do what's best for you. Like I said, we want to get a sweat on. We want to get our heart rate up. We've got 30 seconds here. And then we're going to head down to the mat for those pullovers. This time with our pullover, I'm going to use both weights. So we're going to add in a fly. It's a lot harder, but if you have 2 dumbbells, you can do it too. Three, 2. Okay, let's set up. Onto the ground, rolling onto our backs. Or on your couch. Lifting up. Do your pullover. Add a pec fly. Down and up. Pull over. And then pec fly. So depending on how heavy your weights are, you might need a little bit of a bend in your elbow. Okay, if you have 5s, you can probably do this completely with a straight arm. Okay, so just feel it out. Oop, I forgot my glute bridge there. All right, last round. So back up to the wall. Last round of those push-ups. Hands low. Pinch your shoulder blades together every time you do a push-up. That's why we did like those scapula rolls in the beginning. Oftentimes people forget about that step. But even if I just squeeze my shoulder blades, it already lowers me to the wall a little bit closer. Almost there. Just a couple more. 2, 1. Okay, reverse lunge. Let's go. Last time through. Nice and strong to finish. Watch that knee's not collapsing in as you get tired. Okay, knees should be over the toes or in line, pointing in the same direction. You got this, mamas. We're almost there. 2, 1. Okay, ground to overhead. Again, I'm going to use both. Keeping both of those weights close to me. Physically running them along up the sides of my leg and then up the side of my torso. Keeping my upper back flat the whole time. No arch in the back. Okay, challenge those back extensors. Challenge our glutes here. Or, if you're squatting, squat low. Either way. Oh yeah. Two, 1. Okay, last time. Glute bridge, pull over and pec fly. Woo! Combo. And again, trying to think about full range of motion. So lifting those hips up as high as you can, bringing those weights back as far overhead as you can, touching those dumbbells to the side, all the way. Getting the most here Best bang for your buck. A few more reps. 2, 1. Yes. Woo. All right. So grab a drink and we're going to do a quick little cool down. So once you've got a sip of water, we're going to come back to that tabletop position just like we did in the beginning of class. So from our tabletop, we're going to take our arm, you know how we did our T-spine rotations, we're going to reach our left arm up, and then we're going to weave that left arm under our right and bring our ear down to the mat with our hips up. Now using your right hand, you're going to push into your mat a little bit. So you get a little deeper stretch through the upper back. Very gentle, nice and easy. You're also getting a spinal stretch with this because we've got a little bit of a twist. Make sure your ear or your forehead is touching your mat. Don't try to hover it above. You'll strain your neck. Inhale coming up. Same arm, we're going to reach it forward. You're going to sink our hips up and back. And you can widen your knees here if you need to. But this is a stretch you want to feel in your lats. So more so in the armpit area. One of my favorite stretches. And even if you kind of like drag that arm a little bit, so try to sink your hips further back. Ooh, it pulls, but in like the best way. And then inhale coming up to our tabletop. Let's switch with our right arm. So right arm reaches up, weaving it through, dropping that ear, and breathing. Pressing through that left hand to get a little bit more of a twist through the upper back. Good, inhale coming back up. And then thumb up, sink back. Feel that stretch through the lats. Sliding back a little bit further, feel the pull. Nice little stretch there. Okay, coming back to our tabletop. What I want you to do now is just sit. We're going to extend one leg long. One leg's going to be bent. We're going to go into a little bit of a hip flexor stretch. So I want you to gently walk your hands behind you. Okay? And this is probably going to be okay. This position right here. If that's not, you can always come down, but I don't want you to strain it. So a gentle stretch is all we're looking for here. Okay? And then gently walking up, we're going to try to square off to our toes and lean forward, keeping a flat back. And now I'm a person that can normally touch my nose to my knee, but here I don't even have to lean far forward to feel the stretch through the hamstring because this leg is off to the side. We're creating distance with our hips already. So you might just need a forward lean and that's it, which is great. Because if we've got bellies and we're in our third trimester, this is going to be hard. Okay, let's switch now. So extend one leg. Let's bend our other one. Okay, same thing. Let's just gently walk our arms back. Feel that gentle stretch. If you're okay coming down a little bit further, that's fine too. But remember, we don't need to go super deep. We just want to be able to feel the stretch through the hips and into the quad. And then if you've been there already, come back up. And then gently lengthen and hinge to lean forward. Chest facing the toes. Feeling the stretch through the back of the legs and the hamstring. Trying to keep our back nice and flat. Nice little stretch there. And now we're going to do a little bit more for our adductors and our obliques. So we're going to go wide with the feet. Nice and wide. And what we're going to do is bring our arm inside and just twist up. So we're going to try to drive that elbow in to open us up here. You should feel that twist or that stretch through your ribs and your obliques. And if you want, you can even lean over a little bit or bring that arm back behind you. Take a big breath in. And even if you don't get here, if you're only up here, that's fine too, because we're still getting the stretch, that gentle little stretch through the ribs. And let's release down and switch. So now I'm going to drive that elbow into the other leg and reach up and over. Or you can even reach off to the side like this. This one works well as well. And last but not least, coming forward with a long spine, we're just gonna reach our hands far forward. Try to keep those toes up. Sometimes I'll even press on my toes, but I want you to be able to keep a flat back for this. And here you should feel this in your adductors, in your groin. Okay? And our groin muscles tend to get really tight during pregnancy because as we get closer to that birthday, relaxin's released into your system. So relaxin's a hormone that basically makes you hypermobile. And so all of your muscles and your tendons have to work a lot harder to stabilize, particularly the ones around your pelvis. So if you're feeling super tight through your adductors right now, that's why. It means you should spend some more time stretching them as well. Okay. From here, just to finish with our glutes, I like to do my figure 4 stretch. So just crossing that foot over, and then I like to rock side to side just to get a little bit of the outer hip, because when we did those windmills, we definitely hit obliques, IT bands, and glutes. So you might feel it in the glutes tomorrow, and as well with the ground to overheads. Okay. And then extend, switch. And if you don't want to rock, you can just hold it side to side and try to bring your chest to your shin. Great little stretch, very effective. And that concludes our class today. So, ladies, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you had fun and enjoyed the workout. And now you know some safe, awesome core exercises and glute strengthening exercises that you can do through any stage of pregnancy, but in particular, in 3rd trimester and in 2nd trimester, as your belly grows, that you can still strengthen your abdominal muscles, which is awesome. So have a great day and hope to see you next week.